Senior Citizens Forum. I'm Janice Wood, your host, and Senior Citizens Forum is being sponsored by Benefits for You Too Insurance Services, where they specialize in Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, and Medicare prescription drug plans for people that are age 65 and older, or if you're under the age of 65, if you have certain qualifying disabilities, you qualify for Medicare insurance. But today I'm here with my guest, Cindy Hanson, who has been on our show before. And Cindy is a realtor. She has a lot of experience. How many years have you been doing this?
Well, I don't want to date myself, but I have been in the business for 17 years.
Okay.
And prior to that, I was an investor. So combined together, about 24 years. 24
years. Well, that's great experience. and we see a lot of investors out there lately.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love that.
A lot of investors. But Cindy also has other background. She's been to the Juilliard School of Music. She plays the piano.
I do play the piano.
Okay, yeah. And she's very proficient. I have relatives, and I happen to have a cousin that is a pianist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And
music is totally opposite. It really bring peace in you.
Right.
And the dedication and the patience.
Yeah. And I know she likes to do, she's out there. I see her out there. She's traveling a lot.
Yes.
She travels a lot because she is an international realtor.
Yes, I'm proud of that. And the last trip I just came back from was Vietnam, checking out some resorts, some investment opportunities. It's been fun for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So she has a wide range of knowledge of what is going on. She, of course, she loves music. I see that she's out there hiking now and doing other types of physical activities. Yeah, which is important.
It is
for the body and the soul. Okay.
Absolutely. That's right.
Right. But the real estate industry is, I understand, in July is going to be going through some changes.
Yes.
So let's start out by talking about those changes and how it's going to affect us, because I know as seniors or as just someone who either wants to buy, and I understand it's the buying that's going to be the major difference, or if I'm selling, I may be selling and buying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own needs. So it really case by case. But since you asked about the industry, that we have a major change in July 2024. And today we're not there yet. So anything could change still in between now and to July. So everything I said, it just is a discussion that we all have. But our office has been preparing for this change. Another word means that all the agents in our office will have to go through a lot of trainings to prepare for this change. So the biggest change in the United States is going to be when you're buying a home, you're going to have your own buyer representation, and you will be paying for the buyer agent that you hire. So it's also very crucial to hire the right person for representing you to purchase property.
So as it stands today, that means the seller was paying for all the costs. Is that what that is?
It's been that way, but everything's always negotiable. But majority of the clientele right now is the seller pays both sides. Of course, there are different scenarios. I mean, bank on properties or short sale. There's a lot of different situations, but majority-wise, right now it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now if you want to hire a real estate person as a to represent you, okay? Mm-hmm. that real estate person can charge you whatever they want, or is there going to be a cap on what they can charge?
So as mentioned earlier, there's always negotiable, and it all depends on the value that this person brings to you. So like you said that you want to buy a car, you spend this amount of money buy a Corolla, or you buy a Bentley for a different price. It's the value that this car provided to you. Same thing with your realtor. And I will always emphasize that who you hire matters. Not all the realtors are the same. So even though right now the industry hasn't officially changed it, you still want to find the right person to protect your rights, to protect that what's the best interest for you.
So you need to be careful. I know as an owner, okay, I get phone calls at least 3 to 5 times a week.
Oh my goodness.
Somebody calling me and saying, I want to buy your property.
Oh, cool.
Okay, and I'm being irritated by this, okay? Because it's an interruption in my day for me to say no. Especially when I must know 5 or 6 realtors personally, It's like I've even introduced you to one of my friends.
She's amazing.
That's a realtor,
Yeah.
So if I don't know who that is that's calling me on the on the phone.
Not me for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I know you don't call on the phone. You don't have to call on the phone.
Yeah, you call me.
Right. I'll call you. But you have to be careful with that kind of phone call, especially now with the real estate market changing.
Yes, exactly. So I would say that, so if my client has a situation like this, like they call my client to ask them things, my client just said, you know what, I have an agent, and our job is to vet it out. And if my client says, you know what, I'm thinking about selling my home, perfect. Then if those agents still contacting you, no problem. Just say, here's my agent's phone number, talk to her or talk to him. So your agent is fully representing you. Who you hire is the image that you have. It's a representation that you have out to, it could be other agents, out to other buyers. So if you have a trusted realtor friend, just say, this is my agent, contact he or she.
Definitely. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about people just calling up on the phone later in the show.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I would like to go into that.
Okay.
So if I wanted to sell my home, and I put it on the market, all right, and now I have a buyer come in, can you still represent, say you do one of your beautiful open houses, and someone walks in without a real estate person, can you represent both the seller and the buyer like in the past?
So this is a discussion I always have with my sellers to begin with. I have very, very few sellers that say no. They do not want dual representation. So as an agent, dual representation is very, very complicated. We have to stay very neutral. We also have to disclose all the pros and cons. We'll have to let you know these are the options you may have, and these are the things that you can choose to do, but there are the consequences will happen. So it's also very important to hire the agent who really have your best interest, but knowing the right thing to do, not just the commission they're going to make. So that's very important. Second, if the client allows you to do dual representation, that's not the focus the realtor is supposed to have. They're supposed to have the best interest for the client, disclose everything. Let's say I get 10 offers, and these are the offers I'm representing the buyer, and I'm letting you know these are the offers you can choose, and letting you know every background, what's going on with them. Are they cash or loan or anything that the seller needs to know? Ultimately, it's seller's decision. We're just a facilitator to make sure that you choose the best interest for you.
So are you talking about contingencies that would come in that? I mean,
so the question was dual representation. So it's really up to the seller. Are you comfortable? Because some sellers said, no, I do not want you to represent both sides. I want you to represent me fully. You have to respect the seller's decision. If seller said, I don't care if I get a better commission rate or if I get better, understanding you are in control of the buyer side and the seller side. You know what we want. Some sellers are very open to it. So that's dual representation. Now, in terms of contingencies is contingencies. The standard contingency is written on the contract. And there's always a way you can negotiate with a different timeline. So those are two different things.
I know that's a completely different subject,
Yes.
but you could get. I had contingencies scare me away.
Oh, really? As a buyer or seller?
No, as the seller and then the buyer. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Because I had sold my house.
Yes.
And then I wanted to buy another house. Okay. And when I looked at the contingencies on my side and the contingencies on the other side, okay, they didn't work for me.
Literally, kid you not, this morning, I'm representing a seller. There are 4 sellers on my listing. 3 of them live in China. 1 of them live in Georgia.
Right.
And we're selling the home so they can buy another home. But we do have a tenant living in the property. We're talking about complication. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
And we found a buyer. And the buyer said, well, I do not want to take over the lease.
Okay. Well, let's give them an example of a contingency so people know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically contingencies, let's say if you're a buyer, you're buying a home. There are a period of time for you to do your due diligence. For example, home inspection. You're reading all the seller disclosures. The seller will going to let you know, what have I done in the home? Most people really want to know, have anybody passed away in the home in the past 3 years? And there are a lot of things that you will have to read as a buyer. Do your due diligence. Okay, the environment. Anything. Typically, the standard is 17 days for the buyer to change their mind. They can say, you know what? I lost my job. I can't buy it anymore. Or, I don't really like the noise coming from this side. Or anything. You have 17 days to change your mind and said, you know what, I choose not to buy. Or I choose to move forward to continue the process of purchasing this home. So that is a very important contingency for both seller and buyers to know.
Right.
So let's say 17 days is up. And the buyer in California, other states are very different, it varies. For us, you have to sign something, removal of contingencies. That basically means I am 100% going to move forward to purchase your home, for sure. If anytime I change my mind before close escrow, I may forfeit or lose my deposit.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is a very important contingency for.
So when you're talking about a deposit, so that's the buyer putting down a percentage of what the property value?
Yes, that says, hey, I'm serious about buying this home. We have all the terms and conditions all agreed on. Here's my deposit. Secure this place. Just like when you go to a hotel, sometimes they charge you for deposit. It's refundable 24 hours before, cancellation. So very, very common standard.
Yeah. So you can lose that money.
You could if you change your mind because seller may plan, like you said, I need to buy the next home.
Right.
But if I already purchased another home, now I'm losing my time with you and you change your mind, after you say you're going to buy it 100%, then I do have the right. But again, it still has to be mutual agreement.
So I know for me, when I tried to sell my home, it was like when the market was like, everybody was buying.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's more contingencies because my buyer said, okay, you need to be out by a certain time, but if you need to stay, you're gonna have to pay my mortgage.
Yeah, mortgage is a win-win situation because why am I, so let's say you can't move out yet, so I'm gonna rent it back to you. Or the way to compensate the buyer portion, because if they're not cash buyer, they have to pay their mortgage too. The HOA, the property tax, and the insurance, everything.
So when I did that, I looked at that, and then the house that I wanted to buy, the seller said, well, I need so much time to move out, and I want you to pay the bill. And I'm going, wait a second, this doesn't work mathematically for me, okay?
Yes, that's why if you have a very experienced agent, can negotiate on your behalf before you sell your home
Right.
And during this time, during your contingency period, find another place.
Right.
So that's why realtors, we're not just make money. People think we make a lot of money, but we really do have so much knowledge, negotiation skills, the marketing skills, and problem solving skills.
And it's so important to know that when you have a realtor, that they have this background.
Yes.
Okay? And if you happen to have a new realtor, like I want to say, like, okay, my son wants to go into real estate, he has to have a good realtor or a broker behind him.
Yeah, so we all start brand new before. We're
Right.
all newbies before. We always learn.
Right.
But the important part is, does this person have the resources or a mentor or somebody who
Right.
is experiencing enough to help you go through? I mean, of course, you want to use your son. You definitely you have the right to do so. But can he handle everything for you? When the situations come up, does he have the resources or a mentor to help him or help her?
Okay. All right. Now I want to go into another little aspect.
Oh, sure.
Of it, 'cause we're talking about, for seniors, and a lot of people are just, we hear them moving out of the state of California.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's an everyday. Because I know you're international, you're dealing with California law, you're dealing with other states' laws, okay? But you're also dealing with other countries' laws, okay?
Yes. I'm familiar. I'm experienced with all because my clientele. I'm not attorney. I don't know the law, but I know what's their situation, why they're moving in and out of California or internationally.
So that's really good to know.
Yeah.
So let's just say I moved to, I'm going to pick a state. Arkansas, okay?
Oh, I don't have a client move there.
You don't have any Arkansas?
Yeah.
But I moved there and I see that it doesn't quite fit my big city.
I don't see you living anywhere else better than here in New York or because you're
Right. But I'm just saying, but I do this because I've heard of people picking up and moving into other areas. And it is a culture change, even within even within the state of California. The culture can be different, okay? Because I have a friend who moved from Pasadena area to outside Yosemite, and it was a major cultural change.
It's still,
it was major, okay?
Yes.
But now that she's made her adjustment, she's okay. But there are some people that do move out,
right?
Okay, and then they go, I need to come back to California.
I have people like that. I have people adjust to the culture, the weather, and it's also very important to individuals or the families. Why are you moving? What motivated you to move? So some people could be taxes. Some people could be. Oh, I actually learned something when I was helping a client selling their vacation home in Utah, and they invited me to stay at their 10,000 square feet home, and we went to a pho place, and this owner of pho, he doesn't even look at anybody who would want to stay there. And truth enough, I asked him, why are you here? He said, I don't want to be here. But my wife has arthritis, and she needs to be in an extreme dried weather. I said, is California not dried enough? He said, nope, Utah is drier, so she doesn't have to suffer the pain. I said, wow. What a sacrifice for him to move over there to open their business, but so she can live comfortably. So everybody has a different need and different situation to move. Yeah.
So do you help people come back to California?
If they want to come back, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I sometimes ask them, what's the weather? Weather is actually the major thing. Money is no object to them. I literally have a client that said to me, they moved to Texas, and she said, Cindy, there's a hailstone, there's a tornado or hurricane, and wintertime they go below zero,
right?
And the pipe will freeze. You have to keep the water running the whole time, and the property tax is actually higher over there, even though there's no state tax. I said, wow, okay. Those are great information to know, and then you can choose if that's the right place for you or not. But I love California.
Well, I do too, because I had a cousin who picked up, and because she's still there because she can't afford to come back to California, okay, moved to Alabama, okay, and she lived right on the Gulf,
Oh, that's nice.
And well, one hurricane, it was like, I don't think I did enough investigation.
Sometimes you don't know until you try.
As the hurricane is sitting on top of her house, okay? And I'm going,
I know.
what can I tell you?
Right? I remember one time I had an investment property in Oklahoma. It's very affordable. And then when I saw the news of hailstorm, I called my property manager and say, hey, so-and-so, is my home okay? And he jokingly said, oh, it's gone, it got blew away.
Yeah.
Oh, the tornado, sorry.
The tornado, well, right now we're hearing a lot about tornadoes, yeah. Very scary.
I never personally experienced that, but I don't want to.
I don't want to, I mean, it's bad enough we have our earthquakes, but that's...
But how often do you really feel it here?
I don't want to talk about it. It's been a
Okay,
while.
no, we're not going to talk about it.
It's been a while.
We don't want to jinx it.
It's been a while, yeah. So, but, you know, each area has their own pros and cons.
Sure.
And you should really investigate before you do a move.
I would, if you are able to, do a test living there. There's an Airbnb or places you can actually experience the area that you want to live and see, can I actually enjoy this? Yeah. And different season too. Summertime, wintertime, you know, and then friends, people, the culture, the environment, the community. Okay. Yeah, because we're people, community, and then you want to enjoy where you're going to enjoy your life together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this is a good place for us to stop because it's almost time for us. It is time for us to hear from our sponsor, and we will be back with you in just a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Here at Benefits for You 2 Insurance Services, we believe knowledge is power when it comes to selecting the correct healthcare and Medicare insurance. Please contact us at healthcareoptions@benefitsforyou2.com or call us at 310-245-0332.
Welcome back to a Senior Citizens Forum, and I'm Janice Wood, your host, and I'm here with my guest, Cindy Hanson, who is an international realtor. And we've talked about how important it is to know what your realtor's background is.
Absolutely.
That they're going to be, are they aware of the new changes that are coming along in this coming July of 2024? Mm-hmm. And, you know, what the difference between someone who is representing you selling and someone who represents you as the buyer.
Exactly.
All of that is really important to know.
Absolutely.
And, you know, to know we talked about contingencies. Mm-hmm. And what's in the different contracts and disclosures. Yes. I mean, there's a lot to selling and buying pieces of property.
Exactly. There's so many moving pieces.
And together. I know in the state of California, it gets more complicated every year.
Yeah. Our paperwork is just
right. And I know the changes that are going to be going on starting July, it's not just the state of California, it's the whole country.
The whole country.
And I don't know if that's going to be affecting you internationally or people coming into the country or something out.
So actually, great question. Yes, this is going to affect the entire nation. And you're going to have your own representation as a buyer. You have your buyer agent. So because I do have some experience in overseas, actually other country, they all hire their own representation to begin with. Mm-hmm. They pay their own buyer agent. That's why most of my international clients come over here, always ask me, how do I pay you? How do I compensate you? Mm-hmm. So I think outside of our US, they're already used to. It's us catching up, and you know, we just have to adapt the change. Change is, you know, hopefully is always good, hopefully. Yeah. And there's so many changes in the past. This is one of the things that we have to adapt and moving forward.
For me as a senior, there's so many different reasons why we want to change. Maybe that house that we raised our children in has become too big.
Yes, oftentimes that's the case.
Or we want to move to where our children, because our children are moving to other parts of the country or even out of the country.
Right.
Because I have a son who's moved out of the country.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not following it.
Well, maybe until you have grandkids.
Yeah, it's okay, but I'm not following, okay? but he does not live here any longer, okay? So, but a lot of people want to be where their children are.
Yes.
Okay? And that's real important because you want to see those grandchildren grow up.
Of course.
Yeah.
Their time is precious. That you want to be there with them while you can.
Right.
Or before they become a teenager.
Yeah. So when you're getting ready to downsize or to move, no, I'm like the only senior that I know that goes, I wish I had a bigger house. Okay.
I'll help you with that.
You help me with that. I know you can. I really want a bigger house. Okay.
Well, it's nice to experience
Because
that, actually.
It's bursting out the seams. Okay. Okay. But that's because I live a different lifestyle than most seniors live. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, so I go into senior communities and I'm going, no.
Not for me.
No one. So, but I guess you call me an A personality.
And that's why we get along.
Yes, we get along. Yeah, definitely. All of our friends are A personalities. Yeah.
We get things done.
Yeah, we're the same. Okay. So it's just like we got to keep going. Okay.
Right.
So, but when I want to make that move, you really need to think it through.
Absolutely, all the time, for sure.
Yeah.
So my parents too, they lived their home for 40 plus years, and it's a lot of stuff in the house. That's actually the major thing. Moving could be very difficult challenge. It could be also very easy too. I would just take time, like slowly, gradually, just things that you don't wear for 2-3 years. It's the time for donation, or the things that you don't really need. Start declutter first, and then really building the relationship with your kids and grandkids. Visit them, stay there, and then slowly. You don't have to rush into it. You could if you want to. But slowly get your household stuff in order. Then when the time's right, it's so much easier.
Yeah. It's not easy to do, giving up all those memories.
No, of course not. There are books out there, there are podcasts out there can help you with a memory. And then, or take a picture of it, have a moment with that items. I mean, I'm even though I'm not there yet, but I do things for my stuff too.
Right.
It's like if there's something is so dear to me, but it's really taking up space, it's really not doing anything, take a picture of it.
Well, I know right now I have my mother's pictures. I have my father's pictures.
Yeah.
I have stuff from all the grandchildren from them, that they collected. And then my husband, I have all of his family stuff.
Exactly.
It's overwhelming.
Totally.
And to have to downsize on it, it's not easy to do.
No, it's not. I mean, before I was a realtor, I was a private piano. As you know, I have a music background. I was teaching piano back then. I have this adorable student. She knows I love boba. She made this boba earring for me.
Right.
It's so cute. But I don't really wear them. I really treasure that. So after many years, it's okay. I'm not using it. I'm not, I'm not going to wear it. But I really treasure the memory. I took a picture of it. I donated it out.
Yeah.
So let other people who can enjoy this item other than me. But a picture. That's why we have phone. We have technology can help you.
Well, there's so much of technology in downsizing and having those pictures, and then I'm like, okay, I have to involve my nephews and my nieces and my other children in this, and let's get this taken. But it's not easy to do because I'm one that's inherited so many different people's china.
Oh, wow, that's another, okay.
I mean, I have china that when I go and I check the prices on it, it's unbelievable, okay?
Yeah, there you go.
Right. But what do I need with 5 sets of china?
You don't really need it.
You don't need it. But it's to give it up. But these are all the things that we need to look at when we're looking to downsize.
Exactly.
And when you're going to move into another piece of property, I remember walking into somebody's home who had downsized, and there's these huge antiques for furniture that did not fit into where they were moving.
Ooh, quality of life is different now.
Yeah, I think you probably have seen this happen.
I have seen, like yesterday, I visited. It wasn't a situation like that, but again, they downsized from the 5,000 square feet home into a temporary rental place, and you can see that the size, the proportion of the furniture
Sure.
doesn't fit with the home, but it's a temporary position, location, so I can understand that.
It's very difficult. But I want to go back to those realtors that call up on the phone, okay?
Okay.
We live in an era of scamming and hacking, okay?
Yeah.
And those realtors that are calling, I figure they're looking for business.
Yeah, of course. Everybody's looking some ways to make money, and I get scam calls all the time. They're not particularly realtors. Some people say, "Hey, I want to buy a house." They're pretending they're buyers, and calling me and say, "I want to buy homes," and found out it's a scammer. So there's scammers out there.
So it's crazy because I get phone calls saying, "I'm from," they'll identify the name of their company. And I'm going, well, are you not good at what you do because you've got to make that phone call?
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay.
Or are you an investor? Is that
Yeah.
the correct item to know? But you really need to be careful about those scammers that are calling.
Yeah, I mean, there may be true. So there are times that if my client couldn't find anything on the market, then we do have to do a creative way and then reaching out to people that their homes are not on the market. So we don't know this person's real or not, but use your instincts, use your gut feeling, or ask questions, or even delegate to your agent friend. You got so many agent realtor friends. Find one that you trust and then say, well, I have an agent, talk to my agent. If this person reach out to your friend, he or she may be true, maybe legit. But if they're not, and the other thing is, I don't answer any phone calls I don't know.
It's good. Well, one of the things one of my favorite things to talk about is hacking and scamming.
Oh, wow.
And Arash, a friend of ours, is going to come on right now, and we're going to talk about scamming and hacking and how we can beat them. So we'll be right back. Hey, Arash. Arash, let's talk more about password management software.
Sure, I would
and
love
how
to.
important it is, okay?
We talked about it last time in our last show. So password management, to just refresh your memory, were apps, software, because it was a real need. Many of us have many passwords, and then we need a system to use those passwords. So we use a password management. As I mentioned, I use LastPass. You can use anything you like. So when you log in, you have a master password, you have multi-factor authentication. You cannot log in from places that you usually don't log in. It will block you. Then when we get into that the platform, you can design it like your file cabinets, the way, however structured that you have. You can say business, personal, inside your business, say clients, however you want. For the personal items, what I do usually, I say finance. So my bank accounts, everything goes there, cryptocurrency. And then for like regular things, electricity, water, gas, those things going to go under that. And your password management, the beauty of it is they can create, you can say, create me a password. Those passwords that they create are very hard, but very useful because they're not in the dictionary, as we discussed before. They're very new, and they're 10 to 12 characters, sometimes 15 characters, including everything mixed up. Now, how can we retrieve those passwords? I would say, oh, it's very hard for me. How do I remember? I don't want to log in each time. The good thing about these software is, any of them, you can install an extension. What is an extension? Any browser you use, any internet browser like Google Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Safari, you can install an extension from those browsers, and when you install that, let's say you use Keeper, LastPass, any of them, when you install it, it goes all the way up to the right, and then that extension, you'll see it. Every morning when you start your day at work or somewhere, you can log in. It's the same login concept that you had with your password. You do it once. What happened is, I go log in, put my master password, get the authentication code, get in, and that's it. you minimize it. So any website that you have it in the LastPass or any of those password management, sorry, I bring up LastPass because I use that.
So the hackers, that's a new word for us
Sure,
today, okay?
yeah.
But for anybody who's doing scamming, they're not going to be able to get into that.
They're not getting into it unless they get into your computer. That's why it's very important. Every day you log in. Once you go to your, let's say Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase,
Right.
anything, any bank, that extension automatically recognizes it. Instead of you save it on Chrome and Chrome load it for you,
Right.
that loads it for you. That's very secure. Remember we talked about it, do not save on Chrome and Edge.
Yeah, we spoke about that a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. So this will do the job for you. When you go to lunch, if you go for a long time, I highly recommend log off from that extension. You very simply click on it and go to account and log off. Go to lunch, log off your computer. You always log off your computer when you go to lunch, especially at business. Mainly this is for business. When you come back, log back in, put your master password authenticator. Any websites you go that you've saved there, it automatically add those passwords. Now, what if you go to a new website? Let's say I buy a new car, I want to go to the finance and then set up a new account
Right.
to just pay. LastPass, when you logged in, the password management, when you log in, it automatically recognizes that's a new one. It will give you the option. Do you want to save the information for this website in your account? Under what folder you want to save it? You say this is under finance, under cars, save this one, this is the password, this is the username, and that's it. Once you do that, it's saved there. Next time you go there, automatically loads everything. But very important, before we leave today, you log in the morning, you log off at lunchtime, you log in after lunchtime, definitely you log off before you go home. Do not forget and say it's safe. Once you do all these, log off from your computer and you should be okay.
In case you forget to do that, can you set something up in your computer where the computer will automatically shut off at 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Perfect. And if you go to your computer, especially Windows user, Apple is mainly more secure. Windows user, if you go to your screensaver, you can put log off after a certain amount. I put mine after 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes, my computer will be logged off. Yes.
Okay. So especially if you find yourself walking away from your computer on a regular basis,
Yeah.
or your kids are calling you, or the grandkids are
Sure.
calling you, you got to
Log it off.
log off.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rosh.
My pleasure.
We will see you next week
Sure.
again.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Gee, thank you, Arash, for all those great words of wisdom. You always have something that's real important. And Cindy and I, we were talking about scamming phone calls and hacking and realtors, and that's one of the things that people have to watch out for in the real
Yeah.
estate market also.
I would say just in general. I mean, the AI, anything, not just real estate people, but there's so many. I get hacked too. I get scammers calls too. So just if you're out there, just watch out.
Right, those scammers. But sorry that investors may be somebody who's trying to take your money or
course, that's,
getting into your property, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you don't own your property because.
Just be very careful. Definitely choose your people who work for you wisely. Make sure that it's reputable. Make sure this person says what he or she says that they would do. Just like choose your, like people choose you to help them with their senior insurance because they trust you. They know you.
Yeah, and one of the things that we both do that's similar, our clients come first before our needs.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's the right professional
Which is so important. I've been in conversations with Cindy all the time, and we talk about our clients' needs. What's important for our clients? And that's real important. If you find somebody you think is looking out for their best interest instead of yours, that's not someone you want to work with.
Exactly. Well said.
Yeah. And one of the things that people that I do have here on my show is that I like to know that their clients come before them.
Absolutely. That's supposed to be. That's the right thing to do.
Right. And that's how we like to get referrals.
Exactly. We want to refer people that we trust, so we know our clients are in good hands.
Yeah.
So thank you.
But in real estate, I'm curious, it's going to be interesting to see how all the changes are going to take place, how it's going to affect the real estate market. Will it have other effects? You talked earlier in the show about having to go for more education. So
Absolutely.
what else is going to be part of that change besides the commission?
I think commission, if you take out the commission, you truly want to make sure this person have your best interest. And having your own representation is actually great. And this is also going to probably weed out a lot of unqualified realtors.
Okay.
Because there's so much more we have to do. So much classes, paper we have to learn. So important thing is when the change happens in July, again, it's not set in stone yet, but when the change happen, you need to make sure before you even look at any properties, you need to have a buyer consultation with an agent. This agent is not allowed to show you home without consultation, without the paperwork, the agreement is signed. There's so much paperwork. So make sure that your agent is educated and definitely.
So what would be a question you would ask to make sure that your agent is educated?
Well, ask them, he or she, about, are you aware of the change? What other changes going to happen? Just like what you just did to me. And
Right.
then this person's supposed to say, I need to have this consultation with you. Finding out what you are looking for. Why are you moving? What are important things for you? If they don't even ask you that question, how does this person going to help you find the right property? And we're supposed to go through all the paperwork. There's so much paperwork. We're doing trainings right now to make sure that you understand what's this change going to affect you, your rights are, your options are. Then you go out to look at properties. You don't just, hey, let's go.
Right, because that agent really needs to know what you were looking for.
Exactly. Oh, that's so
And
important.
you need to know what you're looking for.
Yes, they will ask you the right questions.
Right.
What are your must-have? What are important for you? Now, are there any people going to come in to buy homes together with you? Who are the decision makers? Have you talked to the lender? Are you a cash buyer? All that information is all about you. Because you're not just like, hey, Cindy, find me a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a single-family home. Really? That's so much easier for me. But it's not. I want to be closer to my grandkids. I want to be close to the golf course. I want to be walking distance to the shopping center. Everybody has their different needs.
Yeah. So many different needs.
Yes.
Probably as many needs as somebody said as there are people.
Yes.
With the different things that we're looking for.
Exactly. So be wise and definitely use people that recommend it to you and has good track record. Look at their reviews. Or even better, I oftentimes offer this new client that referred to me, feel free to call my client, or first get their permission first. Inform the client, say, hey, so-and-so is going to call you for the reference and find out if this is the right fit for you or not.
Yeah, definitely. It's so important because if you're buying a piece of property, that's a huge investment.
It is.
Okay? May you be living in that property or is it an investment piece of property?
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Also, if you're selling that property, okay? I think you even have to look at more. Where are you going from there? What are you going to be doing with that money afterwards? Yes. Think about if you're coming from California to say that the median price of a house is
1.2, 1.3.
Yeah, $1 million is not hard to.
Yeah,
it's definitely not hard to say. But you're sitting there, and all of a sudden you have $800,000 in capital. What's going to happen to that money? Think that out.
Absolutely. So there's one time I remember one case. One of my very young clients, they bought a home, but within a year and a half, they decided to sell it. And I said, why? And they said, Cindy, we're ready to upgrade our place. I said, wow, thank you, but why? So they told me the reason why. I said, okay. I said, you just own your home about a year and a half. Okay, there's a capital gain. So if we wait out or negotiate the sale date to fulfill the 2 out of the 5 years, you save your $1 million. They made a lot of money from that property. So, right. 500. I'm sorry, husband and wife. So there are things, if you have a good experienced agent or consultant, they will look out for you and then say, hey, it's not my commission. it's the best interest for you. I can't wait for another
Right.
6 months. But talk to your CPA, talk to your accountant, talk to your attorney friends to make sure that you're, saving the money.
You're doing the correct
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So don't do something emotionally without thinking it through first, like just getting up one morning and saying, I'm going to sell my property or buy a property. Look at all the consequences. Well, thank you, Cindy.
Oh, my pleasure.
There's
So nice to
always
see
so
you.
much to go on and talk
know,
about, and this
right?
is always so much fun.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And thank you so much for joining us on the Senior Citizens Forum, and I'm so happy to have you back. And I'm anxious to talk to you again after these changes take place.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Thank you, Janice, for having me.
You're welcome. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.